It is said that signs that a marriage is actually having issues could be told by how often they have intimacy, they work on their intimacy, that a very healthy marriage, the couples in a marriage have sex, they have intimacy, okay, time for intercourse, at least 2 to 3 times a week. For those that have once in 2 weeks, that's still okay, but there might be issues. There might be issues that are unresolved. But once a month, that means that marriage is going through stressful times. Once in 6 months, there are really issues that if they are not addressed, that marriage could be headed for the rocks. And once a year, oh, it's actually a big one. It's actually a big one that if it's not worked on, they might need to see a therapist, consultants to work on that marriage. And today we're looking at the excuses that we often give in marriage concerning sex. And for our husbands, it's actually one very crucial thing for them that if it's not addressed, your needs as a wife might be overlooked, and you could see cranky issues here and there, him being picky on you and not addressing your own issues. Why? Because his own has not been met. And for most couples, we see that it's actually a deal breaker, and sex is actually very important, and it is intimacy. So it's actually necessary that we address these issues. Most people give these excuses without knowing that they're actually stressing their spouses and that it's causing strain on the marriage, and that is why their marriages are struggling. So, in today's video, we're going to look at these reasons, the excuses that we often give, at times from the men, from the women, and what it actually means, and how we could actually work on it. What these reasons mean, what are the root causes, and how they can be addressed. So the number one reason that we often hear, the number one excuse that we often hear, usually it's from women, they say, I'm just too tired. Okay. The men will say, might just come opposite, give this opposing remark. We don't just have time for each other. At times it might just be the women accusing to say, oh, we don't have time for one another and all that. But what could be the underlying case that this woman feels every time, I'm just too tired? Or the man, he comes in and says, oh, I'm just too tired. It's not in all cases that it might be that they have someone that is giving it to them outside. It might just be that life gets busy. It might just be that your routine, it's just getting in the way, your jobs, coming back. Truly, they are fatigued and tired. But how can you work on these things if it is that by the time they come in, children, errands, all those things piles up, and at the end of the day, they're already strained? You could actually work on saying, if you're able to communicate and say, these things are actually coming in our way, how can we resolve it? If it's the man to help out with house chores, to make sure that these things are done, the children are settled in bed early enough, you see that it would help you create time to connect and bond better. And for most women, I actually found out a mentor once told me that it was a teaching she gave in church, and she said, for those that always say, oh, they don't have the strength, women, it's usually an excuse. And she was like, you could actually pray. We're talking about building godly homes. You could actually pray and ask the Holy Spirit to help you to fulfill this obligation. Remember, the Bible tells us that our bodies no longer belong to us. Okay, so we need to fulfill this obligation. So if you ask the Holy Spirit for help to assist you to be able to play this role, He would definitely do that for you. This excuse could actually be tackled by you making out time to see that you connect, you bond. You don't just wait for it to end up in the night. It could just be a way of, if you see that you have a busy schedule, you know that you are busy with life, try to make out time to connect. Try to make out time to connect within the day, a quick kiss before your spouse is leaving. You try to catch up during the day, call to know how is your day being. Okay, it sends messages that you actually care and that you are taking the time to check in on one another, and that could actually foster and work on that relationship. So even when you come back, you could take time, okay, 10 minutes, or after your chores, you could have a bath together or talk and say, okay, how was your day? Take time to catch up and build your intimacy from there. The other excuse that couples give is that it feels as if it's the same routine, it's the same method, it's the same style. Okay, it's just routine for them. For most people, the spark is no longer there. The root cause might just be that because you've made it so much of a routine, there is no urge, there's no excitement. Sorry, that there's no excitement. Okay, to look forward to it. So for most people, they would rather not. It's just the same routine. Okay, so for this, how to handle it is that you could try to spice up your sexual life. You could try to like change positions, probably different rooms. Okay, try another position. If it's been missionary that you're doing, you could go for other size styles, quickie. Try to make it up that it's something that will be a wow. Okay, let it not be that you're just a straightforward person. Let it be that you're predictable. Let it be that your spouse could be like, oh wow, I like this about this. Okay, variety is a spice of life. Okay, don't just make it mix things up. If you have to change your bed sheets, if you have to make sure the room is bright, it doesn't have to be at night. You could have it during the day. Just spice things up so that it's not just as if it's a routine. It could be in the living room, in the couch. Okay, just have fun. So the other excuse that spouses give is that I don't feel that connection. Okay. For ladies, they be like, you're not just into me. Okay. We're not on the same page. Okay. That means that there is a kind of emotional distance in the marriage. It could just be that over time, maybe the sexual needs have not been addressed and there is a disconnect that needs to be worked on. So if that emotional connection is not there, you could try to reconnect. Okay, try to genuinely check on one another. Okay, find out what happened, why this disconnect, what actually came in between both of you. Okay, if you can have a heart-to-heart conversation, talk about what the issues are, where you feel it stemmed from. Probably there are needs that are not yet addressed. Probably there are still unresolved issues. You could work on them and see that you bond better. And for most men, that emotional disconnect starts from when this sexual need is not met. Once you meet it, oh, they are ready, they are all over you. Whatever you need, they'll settle it. Okay. So another thing is, it could also be that another excuse that spouses give could also be that the lady might just be self-conscious. Okay, probably she has had babies and once um once it's about sex, she doesn't feel attractive anymore. She's just not. It's actually as if you're walking somebody up, okay, to get there. Why? Because she's just self-conscious about the body. So this is work, okay. Even if it's for the men, okay, men also want to feel wanted by their wives. So as much as possible, make your spouse reassure your spouse that even if the person feels, oh, probably because of baby she just had, her body still recovering, you still love her despite that. Women want to hear that you still find them attractive. And when they have that reassurance from you, it could help boost their confidence to even work on it on the weight and to accept themselves the way they are. Accept themselves the way they are and just move on with life. They would warm up more when you give that reassurance. So do not join others to make fun of your spouse, especially in this area. Rather work on how we can actually, how you can reassure your spouse that no matter what, you're still the apple of my eyes. You still make me my head go turn. Okay, they just want to hear that. Okay, so another reason, another excuse that couples also give is still they might try to initiate sex and you say, I'm still upset about what you did the last time. Okay, it's not as if I've forgotten. Okay, why would you be making these advances when we've not resolved those issues? That means that there are issues, there are conflicts that are still not resolved. And until those issues are resolved, it's actually difficult. Okay, there might be that struggle to reconnect. So if there are unresolved issues, conflicts, okay, it's not good to sweep them under the carpet. Try and resolve them. Work on them that you could say, let's actually address these issues. If you need to apologize, apologize. If you need to make it up to the person, make it up. Not just that there are issues and the next thing you want, you just want your spouse warming up. Until those issues are addressed, most women, most spouses, do not get over it. Okay, so come out plainly, address those issues, communicate where you're hurt. Be willing to also forgive when your spouse asks for your forgiveness or there is a willingness to change, and let old grudges go. Okay, marriage, you have to forgive in advance. Also make excuses for your spouse if you know you are building a long-term relationship and marriage. Okay, so address it. Openness is very key to this. Okay, rather than just saying, oh, every time you just be like, I still have things against you. Address it. Okay, then the other one could also be that this one has to do with I don't feel well enough. Most women, they might just be like, I have a headache. Oh, they just try to like get busy. I'm not in the mood lately. It could actually be that there are issues that they are struggling with. If there are mental issues or stress, not mental issues, if there are stress, things stressing her, just find out how can you help? How can you resolve this? If your spouse is sick, chances are that there might not just be that interest, okay, in having sex. If they are going through phases in life, especially for the men, when they are having a hard time, probably at work or financially, there is just not that urge is just not there. So you have to try and be understanding. If it's something you can address medically, address it. But if it's something that you have to give yourselves time and say, okay, I'm with you until you recover fully, have that understanding and boost whatever that you can do. If it's a woman, if it's her mood, try and see what you can do to boost her mood. And for ladies, do not just let mood swings be what would keep depriving you of this intimacy, because at times for most men, if they have to keep seeing that they have to do the extra work to get you in the mood, at some point they might begin to zero out, okay, zone out, which is not nice. So do what you can to see that you create the right atmosphere, you are receptive, and that you do what you need to do. As the Bible says, our bodies are no longer ours, okay? This is an obligation and you need to fulfill it for a healthy marriage, okay? So the next excuse that spouses always give is that at times the ladies might taunt their spouses and say, is that all you ever think about? Okay, some will say, is it food? Is it food? Every now and then, it's all you think about. You're always needing this thing. It's actually wrong for you to be making fun of your spouse or taunting them just because they need this, because it's a need for men that in like 72 hours, I think 48 to 72 hours, they need to do that release. And for you, you just keep making fun of it. It weakens their ego. So as much as possible, this is actually tough for them because you are emasculating them by always denying them of that. Because for most men, they just try to zone out because you keep making fun of them as if you don't understand that this is a need and that it is something that you need to work on to build that relationship. So those jokes, as much as you find them good or just laughable or the humor in it, he might laugh as well, but you're hurting him. So it's not good that you are taunting your spouse or joking about intimacy. The right thing is that, even if there are reasons why you should not, okay, you could ask, communicate with your spouse to say, oh, I just don't think it's the right time, okay? Not that you make fun of them, it's not really nice. For most women, the other excuse is that, okay, just come and do, I'm just trying to, it's not like I'm not trying. Let's just get it done with. Okay. And because that is the excuse or the mindset already, you see that is actually quite mechanical. They are just there for being their sake. They are not actually enjoying the act and the activity. So for ladies, for the guys, okay, rather than say, I'll do it just if it makes you happy, why don't you actually get yourself to be in it so that you are also enjoying it? For most of them, they just lie down and their mind is elsewhere. They're just waiting, just get done with it and let's go. Try and be participative, okay? Participate in the act, as much as possible, let your husband know that this is something you find enjoying. It's actually satisfying to you. And it's not just that you're doing it for him, you're doing him a favor. Let it be that you are actually involved, that you're actually doing this and you're doing it with all your heart. Lack of communication, okay? And the excuse most people will give is, well, like, I thought you liked it too. I thought you were okay with it. I thought you like, you never tell me what you want. For the guys, they'll be like, you don't tell me what you want. That means that they've just satisfied themselves without actually um, being sure that their wife has been satisfied as well. So, as much as possible, see to it that you also satisfy your spouse. It's not just you getting what you want, but that you carry your spouse along. Communicate what you don't like, what you don't, your expectation. Just communicate your expectations. Communicate what you're looking forward to, wherever you want to be touched, how you want to be touched, how you want to be handled. Discuss it with your spouse. Remember, they're not mind readers, so by the time you tell them exactly what you want, it will help him know how to go about it. For men, communicate. Women also communicate. Okay, and tell them what your needs, what your expectations are, and you see that he can handle it better. It will actually be an activity, okay, that both of you enjoy. I hope this has been helpful. I shared more tips on how you can build a successful and healthy marriage in my other video. Please make sure to click and watch it, okay? And like, share, subscribe, and be a part of it. I hope this blessed you. Let me know which ones are the excuses that you often hear, and what you think are the reasons, and whichever one I didn't share, and which ones actually resonated with you and that you'll be making good use of. Thank you for watching.